Okay, so today's video is going to be a bit different than what I usually post because I wouldn't necessarily say this is a news video. There is one piece of information that I'm going to cover that's new and related to this video. However, the main focus of this is going to be more a chat and just giving my thoughts on what level that is currently getting verified could actually end up being the new top one. Because we've been seeing a lot of progress on levels as of late, and I feel like it is getting way closer than people expected. Like, just a couple weeks ago, it looked like Doggy was not in the race for the top one, right? Because he was just really mind-blocked with grief. But then recently, we've just been seeing major progression where Doggy's going way more consistent. Obviously, 6 days ago, Grief 97, where it got 1 million views in a day. It is an actual contender here. And the reason we're making this video is because 14 hours ago, Doggy posted on Twitter that he actually got 84, 81, 80, 79 times 2, and 68 on the same stream. That is one stream, okay? Keep in mind that before this, he was lucky if he got just one of those runs on a stream, okay? Just one. And he is getting multiple free 80% runs into this. That is crazy. The last few weeks he's been getting so consistent, and it's all kind of climaxing here, and it's looking like any stream now Doggy could verify grief. So yeah, I'm gonna be talking about the levels that I think could dethrone Thinking Space 2. There's currently 3 in my eyes, technically 4, but we'll get to that. I think that grief has a decent shot. I'll say my final thoughts at the end of the video, what levels I think will be in the order, like they'll get verified, but I think that this one is one of the few with the highest chance. Out of all the verifications, Doggy has been at this by far the longest. Even if you're not looking at like date started and you're just going by how many hours he sunk in, he has sunken so much of his life into playing this, and it's seeming like it's finally coming together. Now, the reason that this one is hard to decide on compared to the other levels is I feel like Grief's difficulty is the most kind of hard to calculate, right? Because, yes, he's been going at it for ages, and he's been constantly buffing it, and it's, like, almost guaranteed that this is top 1. This is, like, by a mile harder than Thinking Space 2, right? But the issue is he's so much more underleveled when it comes to people like Zoink and Popoff, right? Like, sure, Doggy is a super good player. He's a top player, but that, even, like, a top player is in a completely different league from people like Zoink, people like Popoff, right? People like even Trick still. So, like, obviously, he's gonna spend a lot more time on levels of this difficulty. So that kind of puts a wrench into figuring out how hard this level is. If it gets verified, but I think it is definitively harder than Thinking Space 2, and it doesn't need to be harder than the other levels. It just needs to be top 1 when it places. Well, I think it's better if this is the level that comes out on top compared to, like, Heliopolis or Society and stuff. I would much rather this one be the kind of final top 1 of the bunch because it's just so influential, right? This has marked a cornerstone in the GD community. This is what even the people outside of the game's kind of inner sphere know about, right? So many people know about Grief. It's actually crazy how much this level is reached in terms of the GD player base, and yeah, I really wish Doggy good luck on verifying this. I think that he will get it done, honestly, within this month, and if not, probably early July. Next up, we're gonna talk about Society. This one, I'm kinda not happy with. Like, yes, I think it's probably one of the better levels out of the bunch, but I just wish this was top 5. I don't think it should have been buffed to top 1. I totally get it, because it was originally an impossible level. It makes sense. But I don't know, I thought this was going to be a really cool top 5. But nevertheless, it is still a really, really cool level. And Popoff is by far the most consistent with this level out of anyone playing their respective levels. He has been making the quickest progress out of anyone, and he's been getting major percentages, right? He is so close to being this level. He even got to the ending very recently, and if you look at his streams, he's always getting to this drop wave, right? He could beat it any day now. I think Doggy could beat it, like, any week now, but we're seeing Popoff, like, any day now. This level is so close to being verified. I think that because of how quick he's progressing and because he's, like, relative to Zoink, that this is probably on the easier side compared to the levels. I know a lot of people say this is harder than Heliopolis, and Heliopolis is the easiest one, but I just can't see that with how long it's taking Zoink to progress, right? But this is still mad impressive. He dies here, which is really sad. I do think that this level is too short to be harder than Grief. I know that we're keeping into account that Doggy's a worse player than Popoff and Zoink, but I just don't see a level of this length, you know, being harder than Grief. Like, sure, the raw gameplay is way harder, but, like, Grief, it just goes on for so long. It's such a mental challenge while staying incredibly difficult. And yeah, I just can't see this one being top one out of the bunch, but I definitely could see this one being the one that gets verified first. And the last one in asterisks is Silent Clubstep, or Eternal Silence, right? This is like the unnerfed version of Silent Clubstep. It is the Kulix version, from what I know, but you're seeing here the LDM, which it does the Sakupin Circles thing, where it's kind of like the original level. And yeah, this level is stupidly hard. We thought this would never get beaten, but it actually is, right? I do think there's very, very, very subtle changes from the original, just so, you know, actually, like, is not impossible, and it's actually doable, but not in the sense of Silent Clubstep. Today, more of a sense, and so it's, like, literally physically possible. But yeah, this level is super interesting. I think that there's a chance that this is top one. A lot of people say it could be, and is kind of advertised as a top one. Personally, I just don't see it being top one. I feel like it's gonna have the Silent Clubstep treatment where it's gonna be placed below top one when it actually gets beaten, right? But I mean, yeah, there's still a chance, and if we're taking into account that this could be top one, then I should be including it here, and yeah, it's very close to being beaten. The guy has 9 to 100 here. Look, Eternal Silence 9 to 100, and he got 5 to 100, but he didn't record. So there's a chance that he's done an even better run, and he could do this any day now as well. These progress videos are happening at a very consistent rate. 1 month ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So again, this is another any day now. This could be verified. But then lastly, we have the curveball, which is Amethyst, because as you know, there are players that are actually, you know, making major progress on this level. We have Servax now, nearly beating the level. We have Cross, I think he was called. We covered him recently, jumping from Acu. Like, what? These guys are actually crazy at the game. They've got major progression. And the fact is that Servax thinks that this level is top 1, okay? And many other demon lists that are separate from the Pointer Crate one actually put Amethyst above Thinking Space 2. So there is a chance that if any of those victors beat the level first, then we have more opinions saying Amethyst is top 1 than people saying Thinking Space 2 is top 1, and then it would actually be moved above Thinking Space 2 before any of the other levels get rated and placed. Because again, this one really just needs to happen. We just need to see someone beat Amethyst and say it's top 1, compared to a level that needs to get actually verified and then even rated, right? And RobTop can take a while to rate some levels. Remember Tidal Wave, it wasn't rated for ages, so that's not out of the question. It could happen to a level like Society or Eternal Silence. Eternal Silence might not even get rated because of the nature of it, right? I think it will, because we have the Kulak redeco, right? But still, there's a chance. Grief obviously will get rated instantly. I have no doubt about that. But yeah, so overall, what do I think will happen? Honestly, Amethyst is too much of a curveball to really include it here. That's why it's in an asterisk. I didn't mention Heliopolis because I just don't see Heliopolis getting verified in the same time period. Same for levels like Vehement, and even Sweeping Demon 2 to an extent. Now, I do think Sweeping Demon 2 is very close on the horizon. I think we are going to see that verification very soon, but I don't think it's going to be verified in the time that the rest of the levels I mentioned will be, because we've just seen way more consistent progress on them, and it's just very clear that they're going to be verified. But I do think the next closest one is Sweeping Demon 2, and Zoink is kind of too far back on Heliopolis to really include it in the talk here in the running. Personally, the one that I think is going to be verified first now is honestly Grief. For the longest time, I said Society. I've always been saying that Society is going to be the one that gets verified first, but I'm starting to think that we might see Grief. After that Twitter post, I genuinely think if Doggy starts doing this daily still, then we could see that place first. Now, I think the difference is only going to be by a couple days. We could even see the 2 top 1s in one day, bro, happen again. But yeah, it is crazy to see that this is all happening at the same time. And then also, that means obviously, I think Society is going to be the next one. It's just so close. 72 is pretty much all the difficulty. Pop-Off can do it, obviously. So yeah, that's probably going to happen. And then we're going to probably see Eternal Silence. And that's going to be pretty cool, whether it's top 1 or not. Well, obviously by then it won't be. But it'll be cool to see if it was. And I just think the progression is still really good, but I just don't think, it's at the same level as the other people. I think that it's a lot more spaced out, the progression. So I just can't see it be done first. And playing from 0 on Silent Club Step or Eternal Silence is a completely different game to doing runs, even if it's just 5% and 9%. And then, yeah, I think Sweeping Demon 2 is going to be the next one, and then probably Heliopolis after that. And then everything else, like Vehemence and stuff, I don't know. They're too far back in progress for me to really mention them here, and every other level is kind of questionable if it would be top 1, or just has, like, no progress at all. So that is my current ranking right now. Editing being here, I do realize I didn't mention Cosmos Unleashed, and, I think about now, I probably didn't mention that because it just didn't come to my mind in the video, because Cosmos Unleashed has got the most stunted progress ever, as in, like, it's so random when it happens. I just really can't see a level with that consistency of progress getting verified anytime soon, let alone near the time there's gonna be for levels like Grief, levels like Sweeping Demon 2, Eternal Silence, Society, right? So I just didn't include it in this video. Whether this will happen, probably not. I highly doubt that anything I said is gonna actually be in the correct order. Like, we're probably gonna see Pop-Off do Society first somehow, but I still am holding on to the belief that Doggy can actually pull through with this. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say. I just wanted to yap about this because I saw that Doggy Twitter post, and I thought this would be an interesting little chat to have. But yeah, nothing much more to say. Thanks for watching. Peace.